not going to get a second chance in the game.
My name is Zach Turner. I'm the offense coordinator at Kenton High School. I'm going to be speaking about how we develop our receivers. Kind of some background on it. When I took over as the offense coordinator at Kenton High School 2 years ago, had some young receivers needed to be developed, needed to understand the fundamentals of playing receiver. And it really started in that spring when Ohio passed the law. We could work with 4 guys, and now it's went to 7. So all through spring, I'm going to take you kind of what we do, the layout of it, the philosophy behind it, a little bit of philosophy in our offense, and kind of the accomplishments and what's come from that the past couple years. So to introduce you to myself here, been coaching the past 8 years, been the previous 2 years as an offense coordinator at Kenton High School. Started on the defensive side. I actually coached defensive backs for 4 years, outside linebackers for 1 year, and then I went to the offensive side. Contact information is on there. If you ever need anything, feel free. I got my email, phone number, Twitter account. Kind of some background on us the past 2 years as I've been the offense coordinator. We've thrown for over 3,000 yards the past couple years. Had over at least a 62% completion percentage. Just shy of 4,000 yards total offense in 2016. Almost close to 4,700 total yards in 2017, and averaged over 7 yards a play, plus over 40 touchdowns per year, total touchdowns, rushing and receiving. So it's been a pretty solid couple years for us. Really starting to get my feet wet, starting to understand the offense. It all started under Coach Mike Mock when he was at Kenton. So we're run and shoot base, 5 wide base offense. Some receiver accomplishments. In 2016, we had a great receiver. He's a senior. He played our X. His name is Chris Deerdorf. He led the state of Ohio in receptions, yards, and he was towards the top in touchdowns. Then we had a slot. He's about 5'5", and you're going to see him a lot in these clips. His name's Hunter Moore. He had 55 receptions, 800-plus yards, some touchdowns. He was one of our main returning starters in 2017, along with 2 young guys. We had a sophomore and freshman. As you see here, our freshman led Ohio in receiving. He had 66 receptions, over 1,000 yards, and Hunter only played 5 games for us because of injury. And he got injured in 7-on-7 in July, really hindered our offense because he's such an explosive player. But through his 5 games, he had 62 receptions for just over 800 yards. And our sophomore, who we're really expecting big things out of, he's our X this year, or last year as well. And our X is kind of our go-to guy in our offense. It's kind of a big, long guy that can stretch the field. He had a really good year, led the league in receiving touchdowns. So that's kind of some background on us, our accomplishments as far as an offense goes, who I am. And I'll really get into the philosophy behind our receiver development here and give you a good idea of how we set this up and why we do what we do. So our philosophy is everything starts with it. I sat down as I became an offense coordinator. One of the huge things the year before I was offense coordinator on the offense side is our receivers were just really raw. They weren't creating separation. They didn't understand the fundamentals of receiving. And we really took a step back that year. And that was my number one thing coming as an offense coordinator. If we're going to run this 5-wide offense and do what we do throwing the ball, we have to be fundamentally sound as receivers. So I came up with my philosophy, and it started with my offense philosophy. We're going to stay 5-wide. We're going to do what we do. Our kids love it. We're going to be up-tempo. And really looking at the kids coming back, what are they good at? What can we develop and continue to work on that's going to, put us above everyone else? What aren't they good at that we can eliminate? Let's get rid of it. If they aren't good at it, let's not ask our kids to do it. We're going to eliminate it. We're going to find ways to eliminate, and we're going to replace it with something else. So, one big thing is our freshman receiver, he's not a real good 90-cut guy. He's a great speed cut guy. So anything, if he's running a dig, he's running an out, he's running an in route, 5-yard in route, he's speed cutting it. Okay, we don't even ask him to 90 cut it. Our senior slot, you're going to see up here, Hunter, he was really good at the 90 cuts. He was okay at speed cuts. He could do it, but he's great at 90 cuts, getting that separation, hitting those little top of the route releases. So we told him, hey, you're going to 90 cut everything. Landon Rush, I talked about being our X. He was a great 90 cut guy. He couldn't speed cut because he's long, lanky. We don't ask him to do it. We tell him, hey, you're a 90 cut everything, and we teach him the fundamentals with that. What do we ask our kids to do in our scheme is a big thing I was looking at. What's our top of route look like? Are we vertical cutting it? Are we curl cutting it? and we embed all that in our spring receiver development. So that is what our philosophy came down to. What are we asking our kids to do? What do we need to do as an offense to be successful? And then once you have that philosophy, you want to start looking at finding drills. And I think this takes the most time. You really got to look at your receivers and look at what you're asking them to do. Does their position require them? Whether a slot, split in, if what we call our A-back, who's our fifth receiver, who can go in the backfield, he can split out. He's kind of that bubble guy, that hole guy. What are we asking him to do? What's his skill set? So we look at that, and this takes a lot of time. It's going to spring practices, going to finding coaches, high school coaches, college coaches, watching film, all those kind of things. And then you find the drills that build on one another. And you got to allow them to master the basics. We kind of scaffold our kids, and we'll talk about that a little later. We don't ask them to do a whole lot at the beginning. We really focus on those fundamentals and ask them to master the fundamentals. So, getting in and out of breaks, making sure our stance and starts are good. And we don't add drills just because we've seen it on YouTube. I hear a lot of coaches I see on Twitter, oh, Julio Jones did this, and I watch it on Twitter, and watch my kids. We don't ask our kids to do that. We don't have Julio Jones. We don't have those kind of guys. Landon, who's our ex, he was 6 foot, 150 pounds as a sophomore. Our three slots, the tallest kid was 5'7" and weighed 145 pounds. Our other split end was 5'9" and 150 pounds. So, we got to really work on the fundamentals to create the separation, to be ahead of the defense, because we're going to face athletes that are better than us. And I tell them, day one, you're never going to be the best athlete on the field. You're probably going to be in that 6th, 7th range, when you're counting all 22 guys. So you got to be good fundamentally. And as a coach, you got to know your drills. Your kids are going to understand if you know what you're talking about or not. And it's a hard lesson to learn sometimes, but you got to know your drills. You got to create meaning in the drills, especially with the kids we coach nowadays. You got to give your players why. Why is this helping them on Friday nights? Why is this helping them through 7-on-7? Why is this helping them through the drill? What are they getting out of it? Explain the why and how it's going to help them on Friday nights. A huge thing. And as a coach, you got to master the skill and the drill before you teach it. If you don't master it, you're going to have a really hard time. And my wife would attend to this. I practice all this stuff. And a lot of times I'm practicing my handwork, making sure I understand what is going on so I can teach it to my kids. And within the drill work, you got to create building blocks. I'm a teacher. I'm an intervention specialist at Kenton, so scaffolding and creating that learning environment is huge for me. It's what I do every day for a living, and I do it with my players. I try to scaffold them as much as I can. Start at the basics, build them up. Drills got to build on one another. And the example I have on here is with blocking. We start day one, the 6-point explosion drill, where they're shooting their hands through, rolling their hips. And we'll work from the 6-point explosion to the 2-step punch. And just taking those 2 steps, understanding your leverage. Okay, so you're stepping inside foot first, then you're stepping outside foot next, shooting those hands through, locking out, understanding the aiming points of your hands, how you want your hands to be. And then we go to the intermediate stuff, where it's 2-step punch and drive, what we call a release and shock, and we'll go over that in a little bit. And then when they're seasoned, we throw this in kind of for some fun, throw drill, where you're just working leverage, you're working on staying on, moving your feet, all that kind of stuff. But we don't want to go right away to those kind of drills. We want to start with the building blocks, and we want to make sure we master those as best as we can before we move on. So that's kind of the base philosophy behind it, and with that comes the coaching points, and what do we want to get across to our kids. So we don't have a lot of coaching points per drill. If I feel like I have too many coaching points, I try to create another drill and just create another scaffold along the way, another building block. We try to keep it to 3. I found out that's the easiest for kids to remember. You get 6, 7, 8, 9 coaching points. Put your foot here, arm here, leg here, whatever it may be. If you give them all those kind of things, they're not going to be great at it. Kids can't focus long enough today to do it, and we don't ask them. So we keep the focus, we keep the clarity very standish. We don't ask them to do a whole lot. Don't overload them, and we find non-negotiable. We tell them non-negotiables. If you're going to be a receiver at Kenton, you're going to be great at blocking. Of course, you got to catch the ball because we're going to throw it to you. Getting in and out of breaks is huge, creating that separation, and our route running and winning the route and releases. I harp on releases all the time, especially with what we do in 7-on-7, where we go. Past couple of years, we've been able to go to Hoover, Alabama, and go to Charlotte, North Carolina, West Virginia. We went to the USA Football one over in Kenton, and the kids that are going to play are D1 athletes, and we're lucky to have sometimes D3 athletes. We're lucky to have D2 athletes. So they got to understand those kind of things, and how to win the route, how to get your leverage, how to release. That's what's going to create the separation so we can be successful within our offense, especially as much as we throw the ball. We're usually about 70% pass. 2 years ago, we were a little over 70%. We were about 75% pass. This year, we were 69, 70% pass. So we got to be able to win routes. We got to be able to create separation and get open. The breakdown for us, when we look at receivers and what they're going to do every day, within each core discipline, as far as warm-ups, footwork, routes, blocking, and release and escapes, there's 1 or 2 non-negotiables we're going to do every single day. Okay, those are the building blocks. We're going to hit those fundamental things every single day and try to build off those. But to start off, we always warm up, and that consists of stance and starts and ball drills. Just warm their hands up, warm their feet up. When we start day 1, we go over just stance. When we hit day 2, we're stance and starts. Okay, and we're constantly trying to coach it. One thing I've learned over the past couple of years is you always have to start there. And you're going to see in our game tape, or our film tape, we started doing 3 weeks ago. We filmed this. I didn't have any footage on our drill, so we filmed it, and you're going to see how rusty they are, and it's going to take some time. So day 1, you got to start. You got to remind them what a good stance is, what a good start is, what it looks like, and by the time you hit season, you finish your season, they're pretty proficient at it and they're good at it. And then we go to footwork, and again, you got to start the basics. You got to teach them how to foot fire. You got to teach them how to release out of their route. The top of the stem, what does it look like? And we go to routes, it's going to consist of top of stems, it's going to consist of complete routes, and routes and footwork kind of work off each other a little bit. But the routes are mainly focusing on key parts, and that's where 3 coaching parts we're trying not to do a whole lot different. Blocking, we go on there, and then the last thing we'll do is release and escapes, and that consists of press releases, the footwork, the hands, that kind of thing, and top of the stem escape. So the lean to, the throw by, we work those quite a bit. And we don't try to overload our kids. We try to give them some basic fundamental things that they can master. There's tons of top of the route escapes. We hit the leans and throw bys, and we tell them, hey, other than that, we want to keep it pretty simple. There's tons of ways to use your hands off press release. We teach them a club rip and a club whip, and that's it. And you're not allowed to do the club whip unless you're over 5'10". If you're under 5'10", you have to rip. And we tell them it's non-negotiable. That's what you're going to work at, okay? Because we believe you got to get good at something. So as we get in here, here's the warm-up. I bold it. If it's bold, that means it's non-negotiable. We're going to do it every single day. So stance and starts every single day. Non-negotiable. Kids know first thing we're going to do, we're going to have to shoot out there. We have a tall shoot and a short shoot. So as you see it on the drill tape, it's the short one, so our taller receiver has kind of a hard time with it, and we'd give him a taller one just to make sure his stance is comfortable when he goes. Ball drills, every day we're going to go an at me, where it's chest, low, high, just catching the ball, seeing it through, tucking it, putting it away. We do a 45-degree break. We do a stick, which is kind of like running a seam, or you're sticking that fade in that hole, a sweet spot out there. We go back shoulder, and then we hit fade. I mean, I don't have any drill tape on these two, but we hit fade, and we hit sideline 3 taps. So we give them imaginary sideline. You throw them the ball, they got to get 3 taps in. And we tell them, high school it's 1, but if you can get 3 in here, we know we're ensuring the catch. We're not leaving anything up to the imagination of the referee. We want to make sure we're practicing that, make practice harder in the game sometimes. So stance and start. So our coaching points on this. We want kind of a narrow stance. We don't want a real elongated stance. And what I tell them narrow stance for is, if you tell them narrow stance, it's going to be a little bit elongated, because they always change it up what you think. And if you tell them elongated stance, their stance is going to be so wide they can't get off the ball. Okay, so we teach it narrow, about shoulder width apart. We always find out it gets a little bit longer, so it works out perfectly. We want good bending knees, but feel loose. You got to be comfortable. And my number one thing, I'm not going to overcoach stances. I don't believe it's good. You get high school kids thinking too much. They're not even going to realize what route they're running. They're thinking, oh, does coach like my stance or not? We teach the basics of it. We let them get in a comfortable stance. Unless there's something just completely wrong with it, we don't tweak it a whole lot. We want the eyes up and on the ball. We want comfortable hands, preference. I know a lot of people talk about, you want your hands up like a boxer. We let our hands relax if we want to. We work releases and press releases so much, and we tell them what your stance is, how you're going to work press releases. So we believe if we coach it long enough with their hands down, they should be good enough to get their hands up. And you're going to see a lot of our kids have their hands down, and they're pretty proficient at getting off the ball. The golden rule here, hips should never have to shift down as you're starting. And you're going to see our taller receiver, his hips were shifting down. It's something we would fix throughout the season, and taller shoot's going to help out a little bit. But we don't want any wasted movement, okay? No wasted movement. We want our hips to stay level, shoulders stay level, eyes for us, so we're driving off the ball here. So you're going to watch your drill tape here. This is our slot right here. He was a Hunter, as I refer to. He's a pretty good little player for us. You kind of get a good idea how we're going through. I have a ball. I'm just hiking it. Here I get landing. Here's our X. I said go hut. I didn't move the ball. I do that sometimes. They mess it up. They got to come back through. And it's not a punishment thing. They just got to understand what the expectations are, what we want out of it. So you can kind of see Hunter here. His hips look pretty good. He's got a good little drive with the ball. Anytime you're in the gym, it's not always perfect. You see Landon, he's kind of hunching down. We don't want to see him hunch down. We want to see him stay level, get off the ball. We got some good stance and starts of him on our game tape here, so you can kind of see how they improve through the year. And understand when you start this, especially young guys, of course our freshman was a first-year starter. Landon was a first-year starter. We had another receiver down here, first-year starter. So they're going to be really raw coming in. There's a big difference between JV and varsity football. As you guys all understand, you've got to teach the fundamentals, especially stance and starts. So you can kind of key here. This is a senior for us. Really good. He's relaxed in his stance. You see his hands are down. Good little start off the ball. He's driving off him. You see a freshman there. Here's the Landon. You see the difference here when he doesn't have that shoot. Good drive with the ball. He's getting vertical. And you see he's a little bit ahead of everybody. He's kind of a quick kid. When you see up top, everyone's on the same level. Here, everyone's on the same level. That means our stance and starts are good. You see here, this is down here is not what we want. We want a good drive with the ball. But as you look up at Hunter, he's driving off the ball. His eyes are up. He's seeing his defender. It's what we want. Okay? You want a good start. If you can get a good start, you got a leg up on the defender already. This last one, I want you to key in on these two guys. They're doing a little scissor pattern up here. And with us and our offense, stance and starts are so much of it because of the timing and rhythm of it. In the scissor out, if they can't cross each other, the timing rhythm's off and leaves quarterback out to dry. So it's good stance and starts by these two guys, staying on close to the same plane so they can cross. See there? Kind of the last one here. You kind of take a look at our guys. He's going to protect. He's going to be a 6 offensive lineman here, but you can kind of see the guys at the top. Good job of getting off the ball on their stance and start. So kind of what we expect. Good, comfortable stance, good knee bend, not changing pad level, not, your knees aren't flexing down where you're changing your level as well. Head's not coming up, all that kind of stuff. You're staying on the same plane. You're driving off the ball. So for us, that's our expectations as far as stance and starts go. And as you can see, the drill tape, some of the guys are kind of rusty. The game tape is a little bit better, and it's going to take time with all kids. So as a coach, you can't get frustrated with it. You got to understand, coach the fundamentals. They're going to get better day in, day out, especially the more you do this. Ball drills is what we go to next. So in our warm-ups, we go stance and starts and to ball drills. Ball drills, real easy coaching points. We want to see the ball be caught, eyes on the ball all the way into the tuck. We want to extend the hands and arms in front of the eyes. We don't want to catch into our body. And high school kids, they're going to do it. Middle school kids are going to do it. College guys even do it. But you want to coach it as much as you can. Extend the hands, keep the ball out in front of you, see the ball in, tuck it. Fingers opened early, filling the ball with your fingertips. You don't want to catch it with your palms. You don't want to get into it. Catch that ball with your fingertips. And the golden rule, don't let the ball get in your chest. Sometimes it's going to happen. You just got to keep coaching, keep working those ball drills. So we'll take you through some of the stuff we do. As I talked about, we're going to go at me, high, low, into the chest. We're going to go 45s. We're going to go to our stick, back shoulder. And then two things you won't get to see just because I don't have any tape, but you'll see in some of the game tape, is how you fade to the ball, throwing over the outside shoulder, letting them fade into it, tracking the ball with their head. Sometimes I'll stand right behind them. I'll let them run in a straight line. I'll throw it over where they have to look and catch the ball in, just giving them different aim points, trying to make it a little difficult, have some fun with it. We do some competitions with it, and then in the gym we'll pick a line, call that sideline. They take off about 5 yards, throw them the ball high, low. They got to get 3 taps in, and kids love those kind of things. But again, those are things you do later on after they get the fundamentals of catching down. So we look here. I'm telling them, it's just you're coming straight at me. Sometimes you throw a bad pass as a coach, you just keep going. But there, we don't want to see him stop. You see that? One of our receivers, he was a defensive back. I didn't get a whole lot of time with him, but he stops as he's catching the ball. We want him to run through the catch, okay? Seeing the ball in, never stop. There, Hunter does a good job. He's running through the catch. So after this, we'll go high, low. Here we go low. We want to get the ball a little lower than that. See the pinkies together, okay? Catching that ball in. Landon does a good job there. Pinkies together. He's seen the ball in. He's not slowing down. Good. Hunter does a good job there. See the ball in. Pinkies together. Now we go high. We try to teach them not to leave their feet. Sometimes I throw it a little higher. We want them to stay on their ground, okay? We want to stay on the ground as much as you can on a high pass, but sometimes I throw it up a little high and they feel like they got to jump, but it's just stuff you got to work on, okay? Here's the 45s. You see they take 3 steps. They're going to break on a 45, throwing the ball. Just make sure they're catching it out in front, looking the ball in, okay? Tucking that ball, getting it back in line, okay? And just as more as they can catch the ball, the better. And that's all we're trying to do here. Warm their hands up, working basic catching fundamentals, really seeing the ball in, tucking the ball away, and the more passes they can catch, the better, okay? But you see here, they're running through them. I got my helper here, Mason. Helps me do a lot of things here. Good kid. So we go through all that. And this is our stick drill. Just simulating a seam, simulating a fade. We're sticking it in the sweet spot. Anything like that, we're just trying to put the ball on them, catch the ball out in front. Again, trying to see the ball in. Hands are extended out in front of our eyes. Catching the ball with our hands, using our fingertips, pulling it in. Landon does a great job. He's a big, wide target. Okay. Hunter here, really good. One of our base concepts is the run, shoot, streak route. So we're trying to throw that seam a lot. So really working and seeing what do we ask our kids to do? What is our film telling us? So the seam's huge for us. The fade's huge for us, especially if we're getting cover 2, trying to stick in that sweet spot. So this is a big thing for us. We want to go through it. And we see we hit both sides here. We go through twice. As more balls they can catch, the better. Then once we go through twice, we go back shoulder. Working that back shoulder, letting them turn into the ball. Something we're constantly evolving as an offense, trying to get better at. This kid's Landon, he's a big back shoulder guy for us. Sometimes you got to give him the ball as quarterback. But you see Hunter, so all our guys go through the stick drill over the balls, back shoulder. Once we get through one side, and if I throw him a bad pass like I did Landon, I make him go over again. I believe the more balls they can catch, the better. So we'll spend some time on this. Probably 10 minutes on ball drills, just making them catch the ball, working basic catching fundamentals. We want to be able to catch the ball. We want them to feel comfortable. And what we do with our kids all through summer, they have throwing on their own. So 6 o'clock, they go to the field and they throw. So the more balls they can catch, the more they can get in tune with the quarterback, the better. So you kind of see, we'll go the opposite side now with our stick drill, back shoulder stuff, where we're just going to the opposite side so they work both sides of the ball. We'll go to the game tape now so you can kind of see how it translates. Here we're just going to throw a little hitch route, so it's just like coming at me, our basic everyday thing, catching the ball out in front of you, making sure you're secure to catch. Up here, this is kind of the fade to the ball. Again, this is Landon. You see how he's kind of tracking the ball over his shoulder. Catching it over his shoulder is a big thing. Like I said, it's something we do a lot, so we want to work it. We're trying to throw that fade ball. Here's the stick. This is Chris Deerdorf 2 years ago, trying to hit it in that hole right there, and just a great job by our quarterback sticking the ball, but that's our stick drill. Here's our fade ball again to Landon. See how he's tracking the ball over his shoulder, pinkies together, catching the ball, bringing it in. Back shoulder to our young guy, our freshman, even down the field. That's a long throw and catch, but we work these every day. Oh, I forgot about this one. Here we go. And again, Landon, tracking the ball, kind of that back shoulder, fade to the ball kind of thing, but we work this stuff every day, just about every day, with our kids so they're comfortable when it comes to Friday night. They know what's expected of them. They're comfortable with the drills. We put them through it. And again, it goes back to your base philosophy. What are you asking your kids to do? What are they good at? Landon's a great vertical guy. So we work the back shoulder, we work the fade to the ball, tons with him. Hunter was a great seam guy, Jaden was a great seam guy, so we work sticking that seam to him. Then after we go through ball drills and our stance and starts, we go to footwork. Okay? So footwork consists of 5 main things. And some of the kids love it, some of the kids don't like it, and it's tough. I mean, it takes some time. The box drill, the staircase drill, which we'll go over, it takes time to understand what is expected, what do we need to do, how are we going to get in and out of routes. And you'll see they're a little rusty at first, but as they get going, kind of get used to it. Box drill, as I got bolted, we do that every single day. So we start off 70%. We're looking at 90 cuts. We're looking at curl cuts, what I call 45 cuts. Then we go 100%, 90 cuts, 45 cuts. We hit the staircase about every day with a catch. We either hit the fade, we throw the cross out of it. Jet drill, you see that. We work a 90 cut, a curl cut with that. And heavy foot, that's day 1 stuff. And heavy foot is just understanding how to foot fire, how your outside foot needs to be the heavy foot, or outside foot needs to be the heavy foot. So you're getting up in that balance stance so you can coil like a little spring, get out of there. And you'll see that on here. And then we go what we call the nod and go. We're a huge screen team. We're a huge quick game. We have a lot of quick game concepts that we hit, and teams start to jump that kind of stuff. And, the outs, the slants, the hitches, our swaps, which are a quick screen to our split end, or middle screen. So we got to work nod and go. We got to teach our kids how to play it off so we can hit these double moves. And we do this a fair amount, and we try to get pretty good at it. In the past couple years, we've been pretty good at it. Chris Deerdorf was a great double move guy, whether it was an out and up, what we call a stop and go, a hitch and go, the sluggo. Hunter Moore was a great screen and go guy. He could really sell, and he was a great blocker. So that helps a lot. And all this stuff, as you see, builds off each other. They're all building blocks. It's what creates a complete receiver for us. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what we call the heavy foot. Some people call it the daisy drill. And this is day 1. And we teach coaching points, and we make sure before we go from the heavy foot to anything else, they understand the coaching points. And heavy foot and box drill build off each other, and they're kind of married to each other, so it helps a lot. Our coaching points, we want our eyes up. Okay, as we're going through a drill, we want our eyes up, looking forward, because we always want to see the defense. We don't want to pay attention to our feet. As soon as we look down, and with what we do in the run and shoot and how we're making post-snap reads, we can't have our eyes down. It just doesn't work for us. If you can't tell the safety rotating or the safety moving in the run and shoot offense, we're in trouble. So we work really hard at keeping the eyes up. The head must stay upfield. You got to see what's in front of you. After that, every third step, we're on foot fire. So we teach them, if you're breaking to your right, the right foot is going to be heavy, okay? You're going to hit this hard. Second foot's going to be light, but you're going to be like a spring. You're going to drive your knees up, and you see it. Hunter does a great job. Jaden does a pretty good job of it. Landon's getting better. And understand, the more rangy, the longer your kids are. As Landon, he's a 6'2" guy. It's going to take more time in this just because he has a bigger stride length. So you've really got to get that balance. You've really got to get that fundamental principle down in the taller guys, because it may not be as natural as the short guys, or the smaller, quick guys is what we have. Then you're going to come to balance on your off foot with the hips loaded, eyes forward, and we want to throw our head and shoulders up. So as we're coming out of it, and we foot fire, we want to throw our head and shoulders up to get the perception we're still running vertical, okay? It's all about perception. It's all about creating separation and stuff. So we want to get the perception we're still going vertical. So as you see here in our heavy foot drill tape, okay, you see Hunter there every third step. He's foot firing. His hips are coiled. His eyes are up, okay? Jaden, again, first time in a while, let him start over if they make a mistake. And Jaden realized it, and that's a great thing. But you see his arm drive's really good. He's throwing his head and shoulders up, maybe load a little bit more. You see Landon, he's kind of tall in his stance. We would get him down. So as we would work on this, we would work on really loading his hips up, getting him sitting down in there, because as a big, tall guy with the vertical threat he is, if he can break off the outs, if he can break off, what we call the whips and shakes we'll get into, by keeping his hips low, he's going to do a heck of a job. And you see Hunter, even the older guy's going to make some mistakes. And there, he gets back on track. There's Jaden. His eyes maybe a little bit down there. See how he's kind of peeking? We want his eyes up. Landon's eyes are pretty good. Okay, he's looking forward. So we kind of correct that. We keep his eyes up, and the more you can videotape your guys, the better. But we definitely get that going. Get his eyes up. See, there you definitely tell. His eyes are down. Once your eyes up, throwing your head up. okay? And Hunter goes the opposite way. There he goes. You can see he knows. That's a pretty good job. See how his hips are coiled, okay? And when they go slow, they may not be as low as they should be. In the box drill, you're going to definitely see the difference. There again, eyes are down. We got to get our eyes up. You can tell Landon, his eyes are up. Big, tall guy. Load him up a little bit more, a little bit higher on his route side foot just to create a spring and get out of it. But that's our heavy foot drill. And once we go through a heavy foot drill, then we go into our box drill. Okay, and this is a fundamental thing. Every single day we're going to hit the box drill. Okay, coaching points. They build off heavy foot. Okay, eyes up. Okay, shoulders, parallel to the line of scrimmage. We don't want our shoulders turned. All that good stuff. Faster pace drill. So you're going to see the route side foot fire first, and it's going to be a lot quicker. Our hips should be sunk a lot more, just because we're moving quicker. But it's the same fundamentals as the heavy foot or daisy. So we want good body posture, eyes up field. And you see how this kind of plays out. At first, we're going to go 70% 90 cuts, 70% curl cuts, and then we're going to go to 100%. See there? There's 90%. We want to pause at the top. See how they're pausing? Making sure we're moving our hands, getting a good arm drive. Give the perception. The arm drive is what's going to keep us going vertical. Give the perception we're going vertical. So if we dead arm it, as you hear me refer to, that defensive back, especially a good defensive back, is going to know right now he's making a cut, so his feet are going to slow. But if I got that arm drive going, that gives the perception I'm still pushing vertical. Okay, so that would help create the separation with the good defensive backs. Now, great athletes get away with it. We can't. So we got to focus on that. But you're going to see the pause at the top here, just to make sure we're loading our hips. There, that's good. The spring, Jade does a really good job there. Pause on the top. There. See him getting out. The one thing I want to tell you right here, his route side foot should be pointed at his target. So right now he's running a 90 cut, okay? His route side foot should land right in line there, okay? Right on that line. If it doesn't, then that's wasted movement, and we got to take that out. So we got to coach that part. Curl cuts are probably the most crucial with this, just because they have to open their hips. You see Hunter here, he's going to have to open his hips. His toes should be pointed at this cone. And if it's not, if it's too narrow, or if it's too wide, we got wasted movement. We're not coming back down our stem like we should. So that's a crucial coaching point, kind of a more in-depth coaching point. So when we get the older guys, we'll hit that. With the younger guys, we're just trying to work that foot fire out, make them comfortable coming up to the cut and get out of it as quick as they can. And then we hit those little fundamental pieces. But that's what makes the good guys great. They can do that. And Hunter does a great job. See how his toes pointed? Jaden does a good job. He may have been a little narrow on that last one. There, see how his toe was pointed there? It's good. Landon, you gotta get to the cone, but he does a great job of opening his hips up and get his toe pointed, which gets him down, and he's not taking any wasted movement because he's going straight to that cone. You see Hunter, kind of hops to the top. We want to take that away. We don't want you to hop. As you plant that foot and you foot fire, bam, bam, I should be still. I should be balanced. I shouldn't have to move. Okay, my eyes should be forward. I should be able to open my hips pretty easy and get out of it. There, that's a little bit better. Jane does a good job on his curl cuts. You see him open his hips. Good arm movement. Good. He's getting out of it. Yeah, see him get to that's a pet peeve of mine. Get to the cone. Get to the cone. So now you can see us go 100% here. I'll take you through the 100%. And the first time you do this, even with older guys, the first time you do it in a long time, it's going to look rusty. It's got to be an everyday thing, though. And they do it from all the way from March until December. You're going to get pretty good at it. And you see the Hunter, our senior, who's a lot more fluid than our younger guys, just because he's done it every day, or almost every day for 2 years. He's a hard-working kid, so he was always with me. There, you see how he's getting it out. Jaden, good job. And like I said, he's a better speed cut guy. And I wish I could bring it back, because once he got to his blue cone, the second guy, you see how he's wider with his feet. His feet aren't quite as narrow, which is going to slow him down. We got to keep our feet narrow. That's why you got foot fire. You got to be a spring in there. And you see I'm telling him right here, bam. See him, my feet are underneath me. I'm foot firing, get my toe pointed to the next cone. There, Hunter does a better job. See how his feet are narrow? He's underneath. There, Jaden does a good job. There, right there. You maybe see him a little quicker out of it. Landon does a good job. And you got to slow it down. Sometimes you got to correct it. But the more you do it, and the more they see it, the better it's going to be. There, make them go through it again. Good. Good. He's getting in and out. See his toes pointed? As they come through, their toes should be right on this line, getting them to their next target. Then we go curl cuts 100%, and we go both ways. So we're starting the left, we're starting the right on the box. I won't take you through the right, but see it, he's too wide. We'd probably make him start over there. Okay, we want his base a lot more narrow, so he's coming out of it. There, that's not bad. Right there, his base is narrow, he's coming downhill. Good, he does a good job with his curl cuts there. Landing, you can see he's got those long steps, and you see as he comes here, his plant foot is wide, which is not gonna let him come out of it as quick. It's gonna not create separation there. So we'd work on that every single day. Well, that's the box drill, okay? So as we finish up the box drill, we go to something as we call the staircase drill. And this builds out the box drill and the daisy drill. So we want good posture, eye discipline. We really want quick, under control movements. We want to really simulate that hand movement, pumping our arms. We want to simulate with quick foot fires as fast as we can. And we want to simulate the top of the stem through the head fakes and our hip movements. So as we get to the top and I hit the cone, bam, my head wants to come with his foot as I plant it. So I'm giving that head fake to the defensive back to get him to open his hip so I can go the other way. You see here, cones are about at most a yard from each other, and it's just like a staircase. You're going up, coming out. Okay, so you can kind of see Hunter here. This one we'll work with a little crossing right at the top. There you see a good head fake, arm movement's good, coming out, catching the ball. Okay, bam, he's stepping, 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 coming out. Now, the one thing I'll tell you, and this is going to go to our jet drill, is they catch it, they should be going vertical. They shouldn't be still going lateral. You see, I'm just watching him. Good. Maybe a little bit more of a head fake there. Good foot movement on the plant. Get out of it. Go. Go. A little quicker at the top. You see Hunter here? Good step. Good step. Bam. Gets out of it pretty good. Gets vertical right there. That's what we want. And that's the difference sometimes between an upperclassman and an underclassman. Good. Land's got pretty good arm movement. Okay. I like to see him first catch the ball, but I like to see him burst out of that top cone. Okay. Burst out of it. There, you see how he's dead arming up? That's not getting the perception of us going vertical. As I was talking about earlier, all these things build off each other. So we want to get good arm movement in here as we're going through our routes. He's kind of dead arming it. We don't want to see him dead arm it. Then we go to the vertical. Okay, so this would go to our fade. So we go the opposite way. You see, coming out, and we'll throw the ball over top of their shoulder. See him catch it and bring it in. But still the same stuff. So I'm telling him, I want to see him burst, get out. You're creating separation at the top of it. So good. Good arm movement, good head fakes. Really good, really good. Coming out, we'll throw your ball over top of your shoulder. Good. Keep his eyes up, though. That'd be the only thing. Eyes up, good head fakes. Going up and getting the ball, it's good. We got our defensive back coming to join us. So he's just kind of slow with his arm movements. That's something we got to work on. Great ball skills, though. And we go through this. We'd hit two times each side. As you see there, we want a little bit quicker movements, a little bit more head fakes. I'll show you Hunter one more time as he comes through this. Gets through. Good. Really good. See how his head's still, his eyes are up. Does a good job of tracking the ball and landing. We just want his eyes up. Eyes got to be up, okay? He does a good job with his head fakes. So, little coaching parts each time. And everything's going to be a little bit different. Every kid's going to be a little different. Every kid's going to have a different thing you got to harp on. And you got to find that little piece that's going to make them a better player. But after we go through all that kind of stuff, our basic footwork, we go to the drill, or jet drill, okay? And this kind of puts it all together. So we're working our foot fire, we're working our top of the route, footwork, and we're working on planting and getting upfield. And this is huge for us with our middle screens, with kind of our end routes, our slants, and putting our foot in the ground and getting vertical right now. I don't want to see our guys run lateral. I want to see them get vertical as soon as they catch the ball and as quick as they can. So we take all the other coaching points, kind of combine them. So we tell them, hey, you're building off everything, but we want to see you catch and tight turn, no wasted movement. So as I catch the ball, bam, I'm putting my foot in the ground, I'm getting vertical right now. Okay, and we work curl cuts, we work 90 cuts out of this. So here you can see our curl cuts, good job of coming down, really good. And we set 2 cones, we kind of give them a little space to make their top of the route release, right there and get vertical right now. And you see the longer guys, like landing, it's going to take some time with them, okay? Because they've got to get that footwork down. They got to understand staying tight. The little slot guys are pretty good at Hunter and Jaden. Bam, you see how quick Hunter is coming through there, and you see how quick Jaden is coming through there. Good curl cut, getting vertical right now. Lance's got to stay a little tighter with his footwork. There, better. But we work this jet drill a lot, especially after they get their base footwork down. Okay, once they get their base footwork down, we're hitting this all the time. Working on getting vertical. And we just hit it real quick. Hey, 2 times each time. Curl cuts, 2 times each way, 90 cuts, and we're going into the next one. So you can kind of watch it go through here. There are curl cuts. I like to see that plant foot be a little tighter to his body. Good, right there, getting in, getting up, and getting vertical. Does a great job of it. No wasted movement. Sometimes gym doesn't always give you the best feel, especially when the floor is slick. So yeah, if they can do it in here, if they can get in and out of their breaks in the gym, they can do it on the football field. Good job by Hunter. Okay, try not to make them wait on the ball as a coach. Get them to as quick as you can. Get them used to coming out of their break and that ball being right on them. Better, better. So after we go through our curl cuts, and then we hit 90 cuts. So you see here, we'll go right into our 90 cuts. Once I get it set up. And 90 cuts are probably the biggest thing for us because we're running a lot of outs, we're running a lot of digs, all that kind of stuff. Our choice route is big. So we work on all that kind of stuff, catching the ball and getting vertical. Good job right there, staying under control. Looks really good on James behalf. Good by Landon. Okay, see him get a little bit more vertical. Right here, this is where I tell him, I want you to get vertical in between this cone and this volleyball line. If you're outside that volleyball line, there's too much wasted movement. You're not getting enough yards. You're not getting vertical quick enough. So that's their aiming point. It's a good job by Trent there. He was a defensive back for us. Coming in, did some receiver drill work for us. Good job by Hunter. And you see our little slots are probably a lot more efficient at it than our split ends. And again, it goes to what can your kids do? But they got to be good at this. This is a non-negotiable. You got to be able to get upfield when you catch the ball. So it's something we work on with Landon a lot. And we probably implement this in his drill work more than the other kids. But then we just switch sides and go through the next side. So the last thing in our drill work as far as footwork goes is our nod and go. Okay? And that's where we're combining all those things again. But we want to make sure our hips are under the receiver. We're giving the impression that we're breaking down. We're going to go stock block you, whatever it may be. And this is our double move stuff. So all the same coaching points. Really want our eyes up, don't want our eyes down. Give them perception that we're either running out, we're running the screen and go, and this is one of the ways we do nod and go. We can do the out and up, we can do a lot of different things with it, but this is kind of like our screen and go. We just put a couple cones out there. As you can see, we got 3 cones. We're just going to what we call dead leg it on each cone. So we're pushing vertical, kind of dead legging it, like we're breaking down, getting ready to stock you. When they get to the top of the 3rd cone, I'll throw them the ball. So we're kind of adding those ball drills into it again, fading to the ball, try to throw it on the outside shoulder, just make them work at it. You see Hunter there, he's kind of dead legging it. I'm going to put a ball over top, make him catch it at the end. So it's like our screen and go stuff here. You see, he's probably giving a little bit too much. Don't always want you looking back at the quarterback, want your eyes forward, depending on what we're doing. Good job by Landon. You see how he's dead legging it, just coming up like he's breaking down, like he's about to go stock block you. Jaden breaking down, good. Once he gets to the top, find that ball. And we'll go through this a couple times, a bunch of different ways. We'll do the hitch and go out of it, we'll do the screen and go out of it, we'll do the out and up out of it, we'll even go the sluggo out of it. We give them a lot of different ways to look at it so they understand what is the expectations going into it when we call our screen and goes, our double moves, okay? Gotta work those fundamentals to be great at it. You can kind of see our drill tape here. As we look at our footwork stuff, a lot of jet drill stuff. I can't really show you the box drill stuff, but there's jet drill. You see Chris catching the middle screen. Does a great job of catching that ball and getting vertical right now. Okay, here's kind of that top of the route, curl cut. Chris down here at the bottom. So he drives, hips are in, he comes out of it pretty clean. Good catch. So the defensive back bearing down on him. Here's the jet drill. Here's Jaden. Once he catches that ball, he gets vertical right now. Okay, putting that foot in the ground and going. Give him from 0 to 60. Get vertical. Okay, here's Hunter. This is his junior year. He's going to run a middle screen here, but he's going to catch it, This is jet drill. Over. Catch it, get vertical right now. Get yards. Because if he goes lateral right there, the nose guard is going to get him. So every little inch is crucial to us. Okay, out and up, right there in the nod and go. Just working those fundamentals of selling it. Okay, here's your 90 cut right there by Hunter. Of course, we want to catch the ball, but it gives you a good idea of how the footwork stuff is going to come into play as we go here. Okay, screen and go. See how he kind of nods it, lets it go. Yeah, that's Hunter. He works on this stuff every single day, so he's going to be efficient at it. Here's our last one. Here's the screen and go. This Landon comes in here, and you see how he kind of gives it a little nod like he's going to go block him, and he takes off upfield. Okay, it's that perception. We're a big screen team. We got to be able to counter it. We got to be able to practice how to counter it, and what do we expect our kids when we call those kind of things. And nod and go's huge at it. Jet drill's huge at it. Now it's box drill and the heavy foot and all that's going to show up in your game tape. Not necessarily in those individual pieces, but they're part of the route, how you get in and out of it. And they got to understand the foot fire of it, and that's how they show up. So after we go through our footwork, we go right to routes. So we got routes left. We got our blocking and releases. So our routes are pretty simple. We're going top of the stem, and we look at three things. We look at curl cuts, we look at vertical cuts, speed and angle cuts. Okay, vertical cuts and speed cuts we do every single day. They're a huge part for us. And then we hit the whips and shakes. And whips and shakes have been something we hung our hat on, especially with our quick little slots. And we'll go through those, but those are huge. And we work those almost every day, not quite every day. But curl cuts, coaching points, we want the route side foot must be the balancing point. Snap eyes around out of the break. Explode and run out of the break, keeps separation. So we want to see you explode, we want to see you get out. Curl cut routes for us, stick route, the curl, the comeback, switch dig routes. So we got quite a few curl cuts in there that we're going to run. Okay, so here we're just working top of route stems with the curl cuts. Bam, top, 3 steps, catching. Okay, coming out. Okay, I like to see his feet stay a little bit tighter. There, better job by Landon there. You can see him just kind of get his footwork down. But we'll work the curl cuts just like that every single day. And it's 3 steps, make your cut, come back down the stem, we'll switch sides. And the route stuff pretty quick. Once we go curl cuts, we'll go to vertical cuts. And we spend a lot more time on this because we were a big corner post team. When we're trying to go vertical, we want to see the cone as the half-field safety is what we tell them, and we want to stack the half-field safety. So as you take off, you got to get on the half-field safety's toes, and you got to get vertical with him. And what we mean by stack, it's like 2 Legos putting on top of each other is the reference we make. You want to stack them so you're parallel with him, okay? So vertical step cannot be too wide. Hips will lock. So if we get out here on our vertical step, our hips are going to lock and not allow us to get out. We're not going to create separation. We want to stay inside our framework, give that little head fake as we take our step with the hips. So as we step on our vertical cut, boom, heads come with our vertical cut, bam, getting out. Okay, explode out of the break and switch a gear. Okay, we want to go from 0 to 60 out of our break. We want to go. Chin tucks around and eyes get around. So as we make our cut, chin's going to tuck and eyes are coming around. And you do not want to turn our shoulders. So as we come out, we don't want to turn our shoulders, it's going to slow us down. We want to tuck our chin where our shoulders are parallel to our target. Okay, they're parallel to our target so we can keep our speed up. If we turn, we're going to slow down. It's going to let the defender catch up to us. And you'll see that a ton as people do this kind of stuff. They get turned around and let the defender come and catch up and knock that ball down. So corner, post, slant, we teach all about the same. We don't get into the angle cut a whole lot with slant. We will talk about it a little bit, but we're trying to keep that vertical cut pretty similar to all those things so we're not overloading our kids. So here's our drill. We start with 3 steps. So we have 2 cones. Top of the cones is safety. So we want to stay on that line with the safety. And we're just going to make a little vertical cut at the top. Good head fake. Come out. Bam. You see the head fake? Getting out. Tucking that chin. Not turning our shoulders. Hunter does a good job. Tracking that ball. And we'll go both sides on this. Okay. Probably teach him not to slow down so much at the top. Explode out of it. There you see Trent. It's not a bad job. Good job with the head fake. Played a little bit of receiver for us. Jaden, good job on his vertical cut. See how he tucks his chin. He's not turning his shoulders. But you definitely need that vertical cut. You got to put that foot in the ground, give him that little head fake, and that's going to get that half. Good job by Hunter. Going to get that half field safety to open his hips. And once you open his hips, now we got route side release. Okay? So that's our vertical cut. We'll do that every single day, and we'll work it both ways. We'll teach him the post, where I'll be on the inside, I'm throwing the post ball. I'll be on the outside, throwing the corner ball out of our vertical cuts. Once we go through that, we hit speed cuts. Okay? Pretty much the same thing, speed cuts. We're going to take 3 steps on that transition. It's going to be 2 steps. So we want wide first step. We want to turn the corner with the second step, extend step to an angle. We want to snap our eyes around the break just like anything else. And receiver must be on the same plane. So as I'm coming and I make my speed cut, I don't want to step here, rise up, and then I can't get around. I want my shoulders, as I'm running forward, my shoulders should be on the same plane. And I'm never changing levels for my shoulder. And that's what's going to get us in and out quicker. So after our vertical cuts, we'll go to the speed cut stuff. And this is kind of close to our non-negotiable for us just because our slots were so good at running the out, running the little inside in routes and dig routes. We really worked on this a lot. Hunter was a magician with it, and Jaden's picking up right after him. So we'll keep this close to every single day. We'll work our ins and outs, and all we're doing is 3 steps top, stem, taking that extend step, getting our hips around, eyes around as we're working here. And I don't have any drill tape of it. Kind of mixed up the video here. This is going to be our whips and shakes you're going to see here in a second. So if you want to see video of it, contact me. I got it. I'll send it over. A little mistake on my part. But after we go through our vertical and speed cuts, we'll hit whips and shakes. And as said, this is the money maker for us. As good as we are with our outs and our ins, we got to counter it. And we do whips, which our whip is an in then out. Our shake is an out then in. We won't get a hard vertical extend with the illusion of a vertical push. That's a huge coaching point. Get them going vertical. Make them think you're going vertical. Good 90 cut, and we 90 cut every whip and shake. So again, you got to be somewhat good at the 90 cut, but depending on what we do, and I guess that could be a little tell for you. But we want 90 cut everything to give them an illusion that we're running the out, we're running the end. It helps get the defender on our upfield hip too, because as we're taking time, they're going to kind of overextend because, hey, he's running the in, he's running the out. They get us on our upfield hip. We take 3 steps, and all we're going to do is go back to that foot fire, okay? So once on our 3rd step, we're going bam, bam, getting our hips in the ground and coming back at it, and we're going to drive in a straight line back to our point. We want to stay on the same plane, do not drift. So if it's a 5-yard whip, we better be on the 5 yards. If it's a 10-yard shake, you better be at 10 yards. And we work this a ton. We make a lot of money off this. This is probably our money route in the quick game stuff. You see Jaden, bam, good, putting that foot in the ground. Maybe see a little bit better explosion coming back out. Okay, Landon's constantly improving at this. He's getting a lot better. This is the guy right here. He's a heck of a whip and shake guy. Made a lot of money on that with him. You see Trent does a pretty good job at it. So this is our whip. We're pushing out, and back in. Here's coaching point. Don't turn your back to the quarterback. So as I get, young guy, okay, trust me, he's corrected. So as I get that 3rd step, bam, putting his foot in the ground, I'm turning back to the quarterback, giving him a visual where he can throw me the ball. It's not letting that defender get in the face or in the window. If I turn this way, so much wasted movement, allows the defender to catch up. We don't want that. You want to turn and face the quarterback. So it's good to see that part there. You see Landon back on his whip, maybe a little bit quicker as he gets out of that 90 cut, but as far as him putting his foot in the ground and getting out, there, great job by Hunter. Exploding and getting out. So once we throw our, this will be our shake because I'm on the inside. So once we throw our shakes, I'll go to the outside, we'll throw our whips. Okay, that's them pushing in to me, getting out, a shake's pushing like an out, getting back in. See him get ready here. So he's going to run his in, then out, like a whip. Needs a little help here. Oh, I'm giving him an aiming point. I had to remember what was going on. So I'm giving an aiming point there about where I want him to run it. And we run this 2 ways. Whip is kind of counter off our slant too. So if the defender's on the inside, At about 5 yards, we're running like a slant, like we're pushing into him. Bam, putting that foot in the ground, getting out. If he's even with us or a little bit inside at 5 yards, we're running like an in, just so we can sell him a little bit more and get him upfield. But again, this is a money thing for us. So coaching those little details of where the defender is and the aiming points is crucial. So if your apex player is 3 yards inside of us, we'll run like a whip slant off of it. So like we're running the slant, like you see Jaden here, and getting back out of it. If he's even with us at 5 yards, we're running like an in. There, great job by Hunter. See him put his foot in the ground. He was the master. He did a great job. Landon, he's a good whip guy because he runs a lot of slants, big body. So you can see what we really ask of our kids. What are they good at? So as a play caller, for me, I say, what can these guys do? Well, all these guys are good whip runners, so that helps me out. But, you know, some of the guys may not be as good shake runners as they are whip routers. So you find out what they can do and call it. But that's our whip and shake stuff, and you see, great job by Landon there. Getting in and out. Just these little double moves that are quick, and we can hit it. Okay? So some game tape. First thing you're going to see Hunter on the whip. It was incomplete, but there you see how he gets him. Got a little window. We got to throw in the ball a little quicker. Okay, get some pressure in our face, but we got to get in the ball. So up here you can see Hunter again. He's going to run the whip. See how he pushes in. No. I guess that was a shake by Chris. Okay. Well, here Landon's going to come in the picture here. Him on his vertical cut, he's going to run what we call a switch post. He pushes it inside, bam, see him sell it. Gets that defensive back, going vertical, open his hips. Good job by Landon. And Jaden on it. Here's a shake, pushing out, then in. It's good. Okay, here's Hunter. He's on a whip there. Or a shake there, I'm sorry. He's on a shake, pushing out, then in. It was a good job for us. You see Chris right here where my cursor is. He's going to run another shake. See how he gets that little lean into, gets some separation out of his break. And again, we make a lot of money on this. Okay? A lot of money. So you see all the kind of stuff we work on here. There's a good little speed cut by Jaden on the out. Does a good job. It's creating separation is what we want to see at our top of our out stuff. There's Hunter. We don't complete it, but you see that vertical cut, again, that defensive back to open his hips. This should be Hunter on the, there he is on the whip there. You see him create separation, inside defender. He's going to push in like a slant, get back out. Okay, you see Chris on the vertical cut. It's a pretty good job of selling the defense back. We have him. He's got to give him the ball. Okay, and we go through this. We're working all our top of the route stuff. Okay, and if you want to see this in slower motion, whatever it may be, I can send it to you. You see Hunter just find that open area. We work that sometimes, some of that stuff in our route stuff. There you see a good look at the shake. Chris pushing out, then get back in, shaking it off in there. We'll go through a couple more here. Here's a good one, Chris on his vertical cut, selling the defensive back. And again, it's all about timing. The ball's there a little bit quicker. You see how he opens that defensive back's hips up at the end. It gives him separation. We get that ball, he's out and running. Okay, we can't let that ball hang, but it's a good look at how he creates the separation with his hips. Opening up, there's Chris on the curl cut, working our curl stuff. Okay, getting in and out, putting that foot in the ground and going. So you see a lot of our top of the route stuff. Okay, there it again. Good curl cuts, putting his foot in the ground, working out. Okay, this should be him on the vertical cut on the switch post. He does a good job of stacking the safety. So he gets into him. Good, can't float it, got to stick him. You got to stick him, but he gets a good job of opening the safety's hips up on his vertical cut. Okay, there you see the whip. Okay, we'll go one more here. Okay, there you see our vertical cut on our little scissor route. Hunter does a good job putting his foot in the ground. Chris again on vertical cut on the switch corner. We just got to get him the ball. So you see how some of our stuff plays out. Our vertical cuts, we work it every single day of him stepping, getting that defensive back's hips open, breaking off. And if you want to see all this stuff, contact me. I'll be more than happy to send you some game footage. You can kind of look at it all in detail, a little bit slower, and talk about it if you want to. But we're going to move on to blocking. So we got two more. We're going to talk about blocking and our releases. So our blocking, what it looks like, we're going to do a 6-point explosion, 2-step punch, 2-step punch and drive, release plus shock, which is against a hard defender, soft defender, and a throw drill. So coaching points and a 6-point explosion. A lot of people do this, but we want hips and arms should be extended through contact. We want to throw that stuff through contact. We want to throw our hips through it, and the more hips come, the faster our arms going to go, that velocity, that punch point. We want head up on contact, thumbs up, heels of the palm on the breastplate, and our rule, just like the offensive line guys have, aim small, miss small. So we really want to focus on our hand placement here as we go through this. And you see Hunter, good. He's shooting his hands through, rolling his hips through. I'll send them through twice. Just let them explode, throw their hands through, good. And sometimes I let go of the bag, makes them feel a little bit more tougher, feel like they're throwing that punch, and sometimes it's all belief with your kids. So you see Jaden does a good job of punching that bag through. Hands are up, and one of the biggest things I learned, you got a lot more strength when your palms are parallel than when your palms are perpendicular to each other, when they're kind of connecting. So you want your palms up. Give it a good punch. Stimulate those biceps, those lats, everything you work on in the weight room. So you see Landon go through here one time. We don't really like his hands there. See how his hands are out in front. We want his hands loaded, okay? But we'd work on that as we go. So once we're with the step or 6-point explosion, we go two-step punch, okay? And that's our next thing. So we want to start a good blocking base. So our feet are parallel, our hips are down, okay? First step is always the inside foot because our outside foot's our leverage foot. So first step's always inside foot. We always want to keep leverage. And we tell them leverage is not only with your feet, but with your head. If your head's on the inside, the ball's going out, you don't have leverage. Your head's got to be outside. So we freeze them on contact. Where's your hips? Where's your hands? Where's your eyes? And the golden rule is we must hear contact. So as you punch, we got to hear it hit that pad. If we don't hear it hit that pad, your hands aren't violent enough. We want violent hands when we block. That's a key thing for us. So you see here, it's going to take his inside step first. So we're saying the ball's coming out like some kind of quick screen or bubble. Inside foot first, hands out, boom. Hips are low, shooting his hands through. Okay, Jaden's hips get a little high sometimes. He says he's coming up, we want to stay low. We don't want his hips coming up. Stay low, stay low. Let's see, landing here. Not bad, not bad. Hips are low, a little bit more violent with his hands, shooting his hands through. And that's what we want to see with our 2-step punch drill. So we freeze them right there. Once they get efficient at the 2-step punch drill, then we go to drive. But we tell them the strike is the most important part. Just like your pass set, you want to punch. If you can punch and freeze those guys in your pass set when you get a speed rusher or whatever it is, it's crucial. So our punch is a crucial part, then we're moving them second. So get that good punch, stonewall that defender, then move them with quick, short, choppy steps. Don't get tall, play with leverage. So we look here, kind of take you through it. Just give you an idea. It's just building up the 2-step punch. Now we're driving them. So inside foot stepping first. Okay, then we want a little bit more drive there. Probably told them. Okay, see they're always a little shy at first. You want to move them. Okay, we want to move them. We want to drive those feet. Drive those feet. And it's just quick, short, choppy steps. So as you go through it, there. Just quick, short, choppy steps. You're just moving a little bit. We don't want to get them going too much. Okay, you get them going too much, they get off balance, whatever it may be. Okay, we can kind of see it. Quick 2 steps after you punch. Quick 2 steps. He's a little tall. We don't want him tall. We want to stay low. So get a little drive in there. There. That's better. Just that quick little drive as we're going. Just move them. Move them. Good. That was a good one. Hips are extended so you can see the full picture. You get the 6-point explosion, and my hips are locked out with Hunter. You see him good 2-step and punch and driving through. So after we go what we call the release and shock. So basically, we're throwing it all together here. So we're looking at the rendezvous point. Where do we need to get to keep leverage? So we want to be between the ball carrier and the defender. And our rendezvous point's that meeting point where we can do that. Our 2 rules is the defender's low, you're slow. So if we have a hard corner, if we have an apex player over a slot that's within 2 to 3 yards, we teach them short, choppy steps out of your stance, and you're ready to lower the boom. So what we mean by that is we're coming out, boom, short, choppy steps, I'm ready to lower. As soon as he gets in contact or in the striking point, bam, I'm stepping, I'm driving. Okay? If the defender's high, if he's soft, his feet stop, your feet chop. Okay? So we're kind of combining the two, but we're driving, trying to close that gap in between them. His feet stop, bam, we're breaking down, chopping. When he gets in striking distance, we're going to take the slack out of the rope by keep chopping our feet towards him, but we're going to lower the boom, we're going to shoot our hands through him, work on that 6-point explosion. So we just have a dummy. Again, I'll be the defender. I'll be a hard corner, soft corner. It works with our slots, our defender, or which receiver we're working with, a little different. So Landon's a split. I'll be more of a corner. Hunter and Jaden's a slot. I'll be more of a backer. You see him kind of look at it. So I'm talking about a slow defender. Okay, outside, inside leverage. We teach all that kind of stuff, and we'll go through that. And you see me talking to him about it. So I'm an inside defender here. I'm low. He's coming down. He's being real slow, short, choppy steps, getting to that rendezvous point. So we're throwing the bubble out here. He's coming out. So now switch sides. Inside defender, bam. Low, slow, under control, getting to striking distance, getting ready to lower the boom. We'll go through this a couple times. You see, I'm a backer there. It's a pretty good job of him. Hips are low. You see him shooting his hands through, getting that full extension, which is what we want. Hips are underneath, but he's striking hard. Okay. Talk about it and make sure they understand what you want. That's fine. So here I'm outside defender now because I'm a corner. Talking about the 2 points I can go to. I may try to shoot outside right now to get to the contact point of the bubble. The quick screen is what we call it. And he's got to understand, if I'm doing that, he's got to ride me down the line. If I'm trying to shoot and get between him and the bubble right now, then he's got to cut me off and he's got to drive me right there. As I'm trying to shoot and get through, he's driving me. Okay, so we'll go through that. Once I get through Trent here, then you kind of see what a high defender looks like. For slots, I'll be a safety coming down, trying to insert myself into the screen game. For the split ends, I'll be a corner, kind of cover 4, cover 3 corner, playing soft, and just making sure his feet stop, their feet chop. And see Trent's not real comfortable with it. He's a defensive back. He's not going to put himself in the drill tape. But Hunter, I'm kind of out of the picture, so I'm a safety, trying to insert myself down into the screen game. You can see here, his eyes are inside. Good job at stance. Coming down. Okay, my feet stop, his feet chop, shooting his hands through. Okay? You got to work that kind of stuff. They got to understand who the most dangerous guy is, the MDM, and how do I attack the most dangerous guy there. Good. He doesn't chop his feet until my feet stop. Good job of getting in front, locking me out. Okay? And I'm working the other side with Hunter. Good. And quick release, his feet stop, or my feet stop, his feet chop. Okay? And we'll do that with the defense back as a corner, safety, give them all different kind of angles, all different kind of coaching points, what to expect. Throw drill is kind of the last thing. We rarely do this, but keep base consistent. Work to keep arms locked, hips locked, never lose leverage. Control the defender is what we're looking for, and I'll take you through it real quick. The guys had the basketball game that day, so I don't want to really get into it too much, but you see Hunter, he's got under control here. Landon's just trying to throw him, trying to move him. He's trying to stay in leverage. They have a lot of fun with this one too. Okay, so then Landon takes it. Hunter's trying to throw him. Probably get his hips a little lower, especially how low Hunter is. And it's good to put big guys against small guys in here just so they can work either way. Okay, you see how they have a little fun with it, get going. But I can send that to you if you want to see it in a little bit more detail, how it transfers to the game. Okay, we'll go through some of the stuff. The game, you see Hunter, he's low, slow coming out. I'd like to see him stay on a little bit more, but you see how if he's low, he's slow, he's ready on the middle screen. Here we go out here. Low and slow. Work to the next defender if he doesn't come. Good job. Staying on them, working your feet. Good job by Jaden. Can't see all this in here. We got a low screen to the top. So you can see he's kind of soft, so I mean, it's kind of in between. So you got to coach him in between, you know. take the slack out of it. If his feet stop, you chop, or if he starts working down post-snap, then if he's low, you're slow. You see him coming out, low and slow, covers him up. Like stay on him a little bit better, but you get 8 yards there on the screen. It's not too bad. You see him come out, low and slow, covering him up. Good job by Corey getting on there. And just that throw drill at the end, just staying on, keeping leverage. Okay. Good job on the crack. Like to see him stay on him a little bit. Hit that upfield shoulder. He's low and slow. Good job. Low and slow up top on a draw. So even run game, we got to work this kind of stuff. It's not always screen game. But good job by our 2 split ends. They're low, so we're slow. Here again, I think there's a bubble screen down here, low and slow. Working through it. So as we go here, you see swap. He's high, our feet chop. When his feet stop, you get a good little tape there. A couple more here. Okay, so he's low, he's slow. We got a little quick screen out here. Of course, you like to catch the ball, but good job by Hunter there. You can kind of see how all this kind of stuff works together here. Our coaching points. Good job by these 2 guys, cover them up. Just working the release and shock drill. Understand the coaching points. If he's high, our feet chop when his feet stop, low and slow. Working all those kind of things. And does a good job of giving us the advantage, okay? It may look like we're defensive, but we're offensive. We know what our game plan is, okay? So after blocking, we hit the last thing. So we hit the releases and escapes. 1 step on air, 2 step on air, handwork, 1 step versus partner, 2 step versus partner, then our top of the route escapes, throw by and release. And I don't have a whole lot of time left, so if you want to see this more in detail, get a hold of me. More willing to talk on the phone, whatever we can do. We can sit down someplace if you can find me, or we set up a time, share all this stuff with you, but I'm going to go through this real quick. So teaching releases. So this is critical. I spent a lot of time with this. The number 1 thing in teaching releases is understanding the defender. So we talk about defenders' body language, position, and skill set. If they're really good, we got to 2-step them. If they're not so good, we can probably 1-step them. But the number 1 thing is you got to understand free access. Are they giving you free access to your release point, to where you want to be? So as we go through this, defender's alignment means a lot. The first thing we teach our kids is defender's alignment tells us about how we have to release, okay? How hard we have to work. If they're an outside leverage and we're taking an inside route, they give you free access, go. If they're outside leverage and we got an outside breaking route, we got to gain leverage to the route side, okay? So we may have to 2-step it, we may have to set them up at some point along the way, and we kind of go through that. So understand the few questions we ask ourselves pre-snap, okay? And the release questions we ask ourselves is my route an in breaking or out breaking route? Understand your route first. Second thing, do I have free access to my break point? If yes, then we go, okay? If we're getting vertical right now, we're stemming vertical, go. If no, we got to ask ourselves the third question. How do I win and when do I win the route? Do I win it off the press? Do I win it at the top of the route? Those kind of things have to come to us, and they become second nature. They don't, at first they ask themselves, especially you see them in 7-on-7 when they're young, kind of green. You can see them thinking a little bit, but as they get older, it's instant. It's come second nature. So take the time, take the process of teaching that. We have cue words that help our kids. And what we do is called feet and head movement. It's going to open the door, displace the defender. So the more I move my feet and my head, it's going to make the defender give the illusion I'm going one way or the other. It's going to open the door, open his feet, and my hands are going to close the door so I can stack him, get on top of him. Okay? Release footwork and hands. Jab step is used by the inside foot. 6-inch step. Pickup step's outside foot. It's a little bit bigger step. Get us to come to balance. So jab step, bam, inside foot, outside foot, and we're coming to balance a little bit more. Our handwork is very easy as well. And like I said, we teach a club rip and a club whip. That's all we do. We don't teach anything else. And you got to be over 5'10". You got to be a taller kid to use the club whip. If you're not, we don't let you use it. So you're going to get a chance to look at our 1-step and 2-step on air. Head movement is not violent, but you must sell a defender. We don't want to overextend ourselves. We want to stay in balance, as you see here. And that's our leverage. That's how we're going to win. So take you through this real quick. So just the releases on air. You see we're just working our feet real quick on our own. Let's go see. You see Jaden practicing, kind of talking to him about it a little bit. So we want to sell it. And there, you see him practicing. All I say is go hut. They all do it together. Go hut, bam, go back. go hut, go back, okay? We just work that. You see their head coming with it. And then we go pickup step. So I'll take you through the 1 steps. If you want to see 2 steps, like I said, get a hold of me. But here's our 2 steps. So we're getting inside release. We're going to go pick up. You see them all go pick up. Good. Good exaggerated movements by Jaden. You see Hunter. Just quick little subtle movements. That's all we need. So once we get there, we go hand work. And like I said, it's club, whip, club, rip. And that's it. We want violent movements. You share your smack. The main thing I teach your kids, when we club, it's an open palm. We don't want a closed palm. Open palm. And your contact, your strike points from the wrist to the elbow. If you're up here, you're not going to get off of it. If you're here, you're not going to get off it unless you're really strong. We don't have many of those kids. We want to be here. It's the most vulnerable part of a defender. So you can see here, we just line them up. We let them go. Okay, kind of talk about him. Put his hands on him. Bam, club, ripping through. Okay, that's all we're doing. All we're working is hands. And you see the strike points right on the elbow to the wrist, and that's where we want to hit. Okay, it's going to clear your hands, get them through, and use work partners. And we put them in line. We work them, watch them as coaches, give them as much as we can, going through. Okay, so you can kind of see here. You can see, we'll go through this real quick one time. We want them within striking distance. Boom, club, rip. That's all we're going to do. So you can see them go through it. Then we go to our 1 and 2 step on partner releases. So pretty much what we talked about. Footwork goes opposite of release side. Hand work comes after the footwork. Stay skinny through the defender and stack them. So I'm not going to show you the 1 step. I'll show you the 2 step here as I get going. The one big thing with 2 step is the first step is soft. The second step's the seller. And after your second step, your hand work has to come. Okay, so don't work your hand work on that first step. It's got to go with the second step. Your feet open the door, your hands close the door. So as we go here, you see Hunter. He's going to go 2 step, just kind of practicing on it. Now as a defender, you got to be a good defender. You got to help open the door. I can't be a statue. Okay, and then we got the cone up top here, just simulating the safety, a stacking the safety. If you're getting 2-man, whatever, stack that safety. Okay, so you kind of talk about it here. Go real quick, and I'll get to a lean and throw by so you guys can see that. There, so you get your footwork down, throw your hands through, go through again, so we can get the idea. Bam, good. Good second step. You see him get to the cone, stack the safety, tell him good. Working through, stack the safety, good by landing. Okay, good head fake, good. Club rip. Be a good defender, don't be a statue. Okay, a couple more here. We're going to talk about the lean-to. Okay, so coaching points. Use defender. Use when the defender is tight to your hip and you have route side leverage. So if you're running out, he's on the inside of you, give a little lean-to. You put that foot in on contact, give him a little chicken wing, push off of it. As you see here, we'll go through the next one. So we'll kind of speed it up here. So one guy's the receiver, one guy's a defender. I'm the coach, I'm going to throw them the ball as they get out. You see I kind of put that foot in the ground, push off. All I'm trying to do is create separation at the top of my stem. Okay, so we call these escapes. So you see Jaden, bam, putting his foot in the ground, creating separation. You see Landon go. Give him a little chicken wing, good. Create separation. Okay, just little subtle movements. You see Hunter here. Hunter is really good at the lean. See him lean into it, get out, and just working the fundamentals of it. Last thing is the throw by. So we use when we're getting walled off by defenders. So if you're trying to run a dig or defender has inside leverage, we're going to do a throw by, and all we're doing is working the top of the route. So we're foot firing, taking our inside hand, pushing them through, and trying to get to route side leverage. So we're trying to release through there. So we'll look at a couple here. So you can see, I'm trying to push them off. So Jaden will be the defender, or Jaden will be the receiver. Hunter will be the defender here. And you try to stay as tight as you can. Load that hand up, but push them on by. Like you're on a dig, you can run post, whatever it may be. You see landing, load it up. Now the key thing is you don't want to be on the butt, you want to be right above it. Okay, that lower back area should be your aiming point. So those are kind of escapes or releases. We'll watch a few on tape here. You see Hunter gets a little lean into here. Oh, man. Gets a look good press release. Here's your lean to. As you see here, you're getting a lot of man coverage. So, like I said, he's a good little outrunner. So you get man, does a good job at press release there, gets into him, leans, creates a separation when you catch the ball and run with it. Okay, just that little bit of separation is all we need. Okay, you see Jaden here, press release, use his hands, rip through. Good job of catching the ball and getting outfield. Okay, we'll look at one or two more here. So you see Hunter, it's a good job of getting off his press, setting him up, getting into the lean, winning the top of the route. We'll go one more. See Jaden ripping through, a little out, catching the ball. And that's all it takes. Just creating separation either at the bottom of the route through your press release or creating separation at the top of the route through your escapes. So with that being said, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. I'll put my contact information up here one more time, email, phone number, Twitter, whatever it may be. I'll answer any questions you have. I'll share more with you. Again, thank you for letting me present. And I'm Zach Turner, offense coordinator at Kenton High School. Thanks again.